Hello and welcome to the second episode of the third season of Random Musings. First of all, thank you so much for all the love to the first two seasons and also to this season so far. Today's guest, as always, is someone I've been looking forward to talk. But amongst other reason, he is very special because he fits with the idea of what random music is. Because every conversation I have had with him offline, in person, they've all been very memorable, very interesting conversations. And one big reason is that they've always been about some random topic that has nothing to do with comedy. And that is one theme of Random Musings, where I have guests who speak about topics that they don't necessarily talk about too much in person, in public, or wherever with you guys. So it's always interesting to have guests who explore different topics, as we will in today's episode. Very excited to call not just one of the nicest people I know, but one of the funniest stand-up comedians in this country, and one of the best, most ideal guests for Random Musings. Welcoming Vaibhav Setia. Vaibhav.
Hey, buddies. Hi, man. It's almost a little pressuring to say कि ऐसा. First you said ना random musings करेंगे, and then we have to talk about random things that you don't usually talk about. So when you said that, I'm like ऐसा क्या है यार जो मैं बात ही नहीं करता हूँ. I'm like, okay, fine, 1 hour of toilet jokes.
Because
Which I
I
really
remember,
love discussing. Which I love discussing.
yeah. Because every time
But I don't get to.
and even your stand-up, you talk about cockroaches and you talk about things that traditionally people
Yeah.
don't talk about. So I'm very excited.
And it pushed him to a little bit of the edge.
Yes. Okay, Babu,
Right.
talking of random topics, I know one of the topics that that has fascinated you of late is your interest in physics. So I want to start from there. What is this new or I don't know, old interest that you have in physics and atomic theory and that whole area?
So, physics, like, like how school में, like I wasn't a very studious kid. I was like a kid जो last में पढ़ के marks ठीक ले आता था. Like, ranks होते थे उस time पे तो top 5 में रह रहा हूँ वैसा type से top 8 में रह रहा हूँ type. I was happy with it. I would just wanted to bunk periods, play one of the sports that I wanted to anytime. जो available है जहाँ मेरा भाई bunk मार के खेल रहा है मैं भी वहीं जाके खेल लेता हूँ. But yeah, I just realized that exam देने से पहले ना, like of all the other subjects, in foresight, obviously, in hindsight, not foresight, that physics was always easier for me to like, like prepare for an exam. I just feel like it was never a burden. मेरे को ऐसा लगा उसमें बस ना समझने का ज़्यादा था और याद करने का कम था. So it was just easier for me. I don't know how it works for other people. I was really fascinated by a few things, like the concept of mirage. The fact that South Pole, North Pole पे ship पूरा हवा में उल्टा दिखती है, it was so fascinating to me. It just stuck by me throughout my life. So yeah, those things kind of like fascinated me in physics. फिर उसके बाद जब मैं IIT का prep किया, so like physics was, I really enjoyed every chapter of physics. Like मेरे को बहुत मजा आया पूरे के पूरे syllabus में. I was very happy. Every new chapter was like, okay, I'm learning something even more amazing here. Except waves. That is something that I've hated all my life. I couldn't figure out anything about waves. ऐसे सब मिले दो waves ऐसे भिड़ गए, मेरे को समझ ही नहीं आता था. Like I couldn't visualize. But yeah, so my interest grew there. Theoretically, I really enjoyed. And मतलब I think it's most of the people जो IIT के लिए prep करते हैं ना, like उनको physics तो पसंद होता ही है, maths किसी को होता है, और chemistry हर किसी को नहीं होता क्योंकि उसमें याद करने का बहुत थोड़ा सा लगभग इसी zone में लगभग लोग रहते हैं. And IIT clear करने के बाद मेरे को ऐसा लगता है most of the people want to be a physicist. Like, and have the capacities also. Like I have a feeling they have the academic prowess to go into higher studies. I think so उस time पे उस skill पे रहते हैं लोग, I think academically. फिर IIT जाने के बाद slow down हो जाता है थोड़ा सा, because just like all of a sudden you forget all the like the quickness of your mind, how you're like so agile with everything, and the thought and the creativity about the subject just reduces because you have to study something else. But interest हल्का हल्का ना साइड पे ऐसे रहता है, टाइम पास, लोगों से कुछ नया पता चलता रहता है. Like, and by physics later, like it just becomes more into like anything new in the world कि हाँ, what is quantum computing, what is anything. So अब जैसे ना, I think the remnant of all this interest has kind of transformed into me watching a lot of YouTube videos about Kaise. I again got lost in a string of videos how I wanted to buy a hard drive. Okay, like wait. So I wanted to. We often have videos that we've recorded or something, that some data that we need to store, and you wanted to store it. Like I actually happened to be that a hard drive of mine for a long time I did not use and stopped functioning. Or like it takes like 10 minutes to get detected on my laptop. So I was wondering if I should switch to a SSD for data storage. So now I had to find out if SSDs or HDD, which one is better for data storage over the long run, right? And obviously, so first of all, it's a very tricky thing कि कैसे पता लगाए. तो YouTube पे मैंने बहुत सारे वीडियोस देखे. उसके बाद समझ में आया कैसे SSDs का क्लासिफिकेशन है. SSD में एक DRAM, SSD का खुद का एक छोटा सा RAM होता है, वो DRAM होना या नहीं होना. Now the trick entirely became कि मैं जिस प्राइस पे HDD खरीद रहा हूँ और जिस प्राइस पे SSD खरीद रहा हूँ, वो दोनों लगभग सेम प्राइस पे आके कहाँ पे आके एक DRAM लेस लाइक अलग अलग टाइप ऑफ हाउ डू वो कैसे QLC TLC MLC लाइक प्रॉपर SSDs कैसे फंक्शन करते हैं, कैसे उसमें डेटा रॉट होता है कि SSD में अगर पड़ा रहेगा डेटा तो वो डेटा रॉट अपने आप ही हो जाएगा, और HDD में अगर तुम बहुत दिन तक नहीं चलाओगे तो उससे मैकेनिकल पार्ट हिलने कम हो जाएंगे तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली खराब हो जाएगा. तो दोनों खराब होते हैं. इवेंचुअल रिजल्ट इज तुमको दोनों को हर 2-3 महीने में प्लग इन करना पड़ेगा फॉर इट टू हैव बेस्ट लाइफ. बट द कंपैरिजन एज टू व्हेन एंड व्हाट eventually I figured out after like watching maybe 10 days तक अलग अलग videos of different geeks that HDDs are actually preferred to for data long term storage के लिए only if you can maintain them. That asterisk वो सात चीज के आगे लगेगा if you can maintain. So anyways, these things मैं quantum computing में अभी मतलब this is my latest thing which I'm like kind of like discovering धीरे धीरे parts of the topics to understand how quantum computing is working. Apparently 3 bits of atom, वो लोग एक atom के ऊपर information लिख देते हैं और वो information तुम्हें read भी कर सकते हैं लोग, पता नहीं कैसे इन लोग करते हैं. I think I find beauty in what I read while my preparation for IITs and how that is kind of extrapolating into understanding this, and that makes me really like and enjoy whatever I'm discovering through these videos. Yeah, so I'm geeking out on these a little bit, but yeah, more often than not, this is actually, apart from the toilet humor, this is my second favorite thing to talk about most of the time, which I cannot talk to people for random musings. I think this is perfect, but yeah, this is about it.
Toilet in the
a very funny a geeky sort of a way. I used to like feel this way like about stand-up, you know, like initially अपने there was this phase where लोग YouTube पे अभी जैसे वीडियो डालते हैं तो like a lot of people do not know कि मैं वीडियो लाइव देखना और वीडियो को देखना और लाइव देखना स्टैंड अप कितना फर्क है ना. There was a time where there was something like technical that I understood about it, and it was very fun. I used to do that whenever I used to explain to people कि जैसे अपने कभी गाना वाना डाउनलोड करते, this is my theory, okay? This is not tested but I felt I understood this, कि जैसे अपने गाना वाना कभी बहुत पहले जब डाउनलोड करने का होता था, डाउनलोड करते थे तो कभी दिखता था ना this many bits per second, this many kbs per second, ऐसे that's the amount of information you're getting per second in bits, right? Like and it's basically कि you know like yes and no में सिग्नल आया नहीं आया, that is one bit of information. Now जब लाइव परफॉर्म होता है तो there is infinite bits being created, उसमें से certain part तुम्हारा माइक पकड़ रहा है, उसमें से certain part तुम तक पहुंच रहा है, so that's a very small fraction of the information that you're receiving. So that's why when you watch live, you're actually watching infinite bits per second comparatively. And because we don't know what bits we are where, whatever, like collecting आधे bits अपने को पता ही नहीं है, अपना understanding of words अपने को ये भी नहीं पता कि दुनिया में दो चीज same नहीं होती है. Like our calculations are so limited and approximated. I still wonder चांद पे कैसे भेज दिया अपन ने इंसान को, और वो पहुंचने वाला कैसे कॉन्फिडेंस था क्या यार एक काम करते हैं, ये जो मैथ की है ना ये सही है ये हम पहुंच जाएंगे. इट्स वेरी so basically the point was that जब तुम लाइव देखते हो so you're seeing something in infinite bits per second, so that's why the enjoyment of watching something there is unparalleled to watching something on video.
Man, what a great way to look at it. I mean, again, like you said, it's a theory, but it still is a great comparison between live and this thing. शायद इसलिए stand up को bits बोलते हैं, हाँ. Sorry. Oh man, what a. But I also find it very fascinating. I'm not as tech मतलब उतना knowledge मेरा थोड़ा कम है, but history का है तो when I go to these museums like a science museum and all, it blows my mind about how and it always comes down to human ingenuity and the power of just humans
Yeah.
who have traveled like with time. Jo, the advancement is mind blowing. Like it's
Yeah.
like, you know, the other day some random fact was key the whole computing power of because you mentioned moon landing. वो मून लैंडिंग में जितना उनका पावर था उन लाइक द व्हाटएवर द कंप्यूटिंग पावर यूज्ड फॉर सेंडिंग अ मैन टू द मून, उससे कहीं ज्यादा हमारे फोन में है एज ऑफ नाउ.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is ऐसा ऐसा it's just one of those notebook के पीछे वाला fact. But when you take a pause and you think, like, dude क्या बात कर रहा है यार? You know?
क्लासमेट के लास्ट पेज पे ये लिखा हुआ, क्लासमेट की
हाँ,
नोटबुक के लास्ट पेज पे लिखा हुआ रहेगा, इतनी बड़ी बात.
correct. और लग रहा है यार, like it's just insane. Like speed of light, all our life we have
Yeah.
studied कि मतलब उससे ज्यादा नहीं हो सकता, वही है maximum. There is that
Yeah.
was assumption, and then suddenly even that is being pushed. Like
Yeah.
it's,
I saw a video where speed of light अपने को पता ही नहीं है कितना है. It
हाँ,
can be 100 times it can be million times it can be anything. अपने
yeah,
को पता नहीं है, अपने measure नहीं कर सकते. It was a very funny thing. I don't know if you've ever heard, like, just very short thing, and you'll also like enjoy knowing this. I don't know if you've ever read how speed of light is not accurate. It's not like अपने थोड़ा सा point decimal इधर उधर accurate नहीं कर पाए. The thing is, suppose light यहाँ से निकली और light यहाँ पहुंची, तो यहाँ दोनों में रिसेप्टर होना पड़ेगा ना कि भाई लाइट यहाँ से यहाँ इतनी डिस्टेंस इतने देर में ट्रैवल की तो अपने स्पीड कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. पर क्या है ना, जो इन्फॉर्मेशन ट्रैवल करती है, सपोज तुमने यहाँ स्विच ऑन किया कि लाइट निकली है और ये रिसेप्टर को भी ऑन किया, तो लाइट जब से यहाँ तक आई उतनी देर में इंफॉर्मेशन आई, तो यू कांट सी द डिफरेंस बिटवीन
yeah,
कि ये टाइम कितना हुआ
correct,
इसके बीच
correct,
में. एटॉमिक क्लॉक्स भी नहीं कर सकते.
correct.
तो अपने तो व्हाट वी हैड टू डू इवेंचुअली दैट दे हैड टू सी अ रिफ्लेक्शन कि ये लाइट गई और वापस आई, तो ये टू टाइम्स डिस्टेंस
Two
कितनी
times.
देर में आया, तो
हाँ,
सेम रिफ्लेक्टर पे.
हम्म,
क्योंकि यहाँ पे कब ऑन हुआ और यहाँ पे कब ऑन हुआ, वो दो टाइम का डिफरेंस बीच में, खाली वो दो रिसेप्टर्स के बीच का एग्जैक्ट डिफरेंस टू मेजर द स्पीड ऑफ टाइम अपने नहीं कर पा रहे थे.
yeah,
So they had to measure a reflection. Now the problem is they measured the reflection and it came out to be what we know as the speed of light right now, which is in Einstein's theory also. Yeah, this is the speed of light. But the problem is we do not know, did it go a million times faster and came back a million times slower? Did it go at the same speed and came back at the same speed? Did it go 2 times faster and come half a time slower? We don't know. So it's a very intriguing field. I feel like it's to me at least. But anyway, yeah. So it's beautiful when you're saying just ये facts छोटे छोटे अपने को पता चलते हैं.
yeah,
If मेरे को बिस्वा एक बार बताया था, it blew my mind. Ever since I've been thinking, like जैसे कि 1 + 1 2 होता है. I don't know if it's a mathematical theorem or this is Biswa's ideal like thought on something. ऐसा कुछ कि 1 + 1 2 होता है. ये
yeah,
अपने दुनिया का बेसिक्स है मैथ्स का,
हाँ,
राइट? पर एक्चुअल में दुनिया में 1 और 1 सेम एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करते हैं. So 1 + 1 is never 2.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So we approximate on such a basic level of math that the eventual calculation of sending a person to the moon, सोच
yeah,
कि हम ये सब
correct.
कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं, वहां मून में गए, वो पाँव बाहर रखा, the moon sucks the person in. You never know what
You
is
never,
gonna happen.
yeah, yeah, beautiful. I mean, छोटी छोटी चीज, like you said, the light का फंडा, like in layman term, it's very like uh, cricket match, 2 innings में I have told you that the average is 50. Now you don't know if I scored 50 in both innings, 100 and 0, or 90.
Yeah,
Right? It's very like
yeah,
it's like अरे यार क्या बात कर रहा है. And then the 1 + 1, it's हम बचपन से यही पढ़ रहे हैं ना कि 1 apple + 1 apple is 2 apple. Correct?
yeah,
The way to understand is the 2 apples are never the same. So it's never
yeah.
2 apples. There's a difference
It's
between
always two different apples. It's never
two
two
different.
apples.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
like
देखो,
recently.
it's so limiting. Sorry, I'm sorry.
नहीं,
Go on. I was thinking like it's so limiting, like what we feel, touch, hear, smell. It's so limited. Like अपने को 200 या 300 to 700 nanometer wavelength ही दिखती, सुनाई दिखती है. कुछ certain ही दिखाई देता है. मच्छर कभी आके बैठता है तो फील होता है और कभी आके बैठता है तो फील नहीं होता है. So there's a certain range of touch that we can see. It's very very limited that we know, that we feel. तो कभी कभी मेरे को लगता है कि अपना parallel universe है, अपने को feel नहीं हो रहा है. Like you know, we are so minuscule in it.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
just it's fun to like theorize randomly, fantasize about amazing shit. I remember the fun fact actually about the whole science thing. I remember class 7 में मैं था, and the first time that physics is being introduced in the curriculum. I remember there was this teacher, home tutor that I had because my class में bunk मारता था तो चाहिए था घर पे पढ़ने को. So I remember this teacher was teaching me states of matter, like solid, liquid, and gas. And at the same time, a few chapters earlier, or maybe something around, like I must have been introduced to the concept of atom. And I just asked my teacher what is the physical state of atom. And he was like, nahi, wo nahi hota hai. And like, he just, he couldn't find a good answer. Like he tried and ye wo aisa kuch. But then I just remember that I was not satisfied with it to the extent that after like a lot of argument with my teacher, कि नहीं आपको बताना तो होगा, ये तो logic नहीं है, ये तो नहीं. I eventually he had to call my mother that he's refusing to study any further. And then my mom, so my mom, she did BSc. So she has some scientific, like she knew a bit of physics. So she came and she just like for the moment she told me कि अगर तुम्हारा टी-शर्ट, I came ना ये टी-शर्ट कॉटन है, इसके अंदर एटम है तो वो सॉलिड है कि नहीं है, ये तो सॉलिड है और उसके अंदर का एटम भी सॉलिड है क्या. I kept on like as a kid harping on the question, and my mom said, okay, अगर तुम्हारा ये सॉलिड है तो अंदर जो एटम है वो भी सॉलिड ही होगा ना, वो लिक्विड थोड़ी हो सकता है. Okay, I was a kid, I understood then, but then later I understood how physical states are not defined for atoms and like subatomic particles. जो छोटे छोटे उनका अलग तरीके से डिफाइन होता है, वो सॉलिड लिक्विड गैस में आते नहीं है. So it was very funny then.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's funny that you mentioned the whole wavelength, etc. And my dog, like Arya, is sitting here, and since the day she has come in my life, these thoughts keep coming a lot to me as to how both of us are looking at world differently and experiencing everything differently. For example, what they can hear is different than us, what they see is different than us, what they taste is different than us. Like their अपना जो taste buds है वो अगर X है तो उसका कुछ 1000x से कहीं ज्यादा है, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, smell I meant, like in
Smell,
terms
man.
of
I meant, yeah.
smell अगर हम इतना है तो उनका 10,000 वो है better than us. Taste हमारा ज्यादा है like compared to them. Again, they are mostly colorblind or like they see very limited colors. So it's just mind blowing कि जो मैं सामने देख रहा हूँ और ये देख रही है, हम कुछ अलग देख रहे हैं.
पूरी दुनिया ही अलग है.
यार ये कैसे हो रहा है यार, ये क्या?
And isn't it so fascinating to know कि इन्होंने उसकी आंख में घुस के देखा कैसे कि उसको कलर ब्लाइंडनेस है. So it's so funny that the world found a way to discover that कि किस एनिमल को कैसा दिखता है. Like, it's not, you can't just look at observe at dogs and give them black and white and then not black and white or colors and then not colored. And I know there must have been ways, but it's just so funny to invest on the idea कि और ये नहीं अपने को एक साउथ अफ्रीका में एक नया बीटल मिलेगा, वो बीटल को कैसा दिखता है वो भी पता रहता है, लेकिन वो सिर्फ इंफ्रारेड में दिखता है. तेरे को कैसे पता मच्छर इंफ्रारेड में दिखता है यार? मच्छर की अपन ने कैसे की कि मच्छर को इंफ्रारेड दिखता है खाली? So mind boggling.
We तो often discuss this about like anytime we read anything about
with Arya.
Yeah, no. We often discuss कि anything that we read about dog कि अच्छा ऐसा आर्टिकल में ये लिखा है, इस वीडियो में ये बोला है. मैं कहा ये तो तुझे लग रहा है ना कि डॉग को ऐसा लगता है. डॉग
अगेन अपने तो 300 से 700 नैनोमीटर ही देख सकते हैं ना, तो अपने को क्या पता डॉग को कितना पता है. हो सकता है डॉग को टेस्ट भी 10x है, 100x है, 1000x है, वी डोंट नो. अपन ने थोड़ी सब कुछ खिलाया है उसको. अपन को 200 साल पहले तो पता चला कि प्लांट जिंदा होते हैं यार. अपन को क्या पता है? We barely know shit. 200 साल पहले अपने को समझ ओ ये लिविंग है.
करेक्ट. मतलब थ्रू आउट हिस्ट्री व्हेन यू लुक ऐसा, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ हिस्ट्री में तो जो भी चीजें थी वो इवेंचुअली हमको गलत या इम्प्रूव्ड वर्जन होता रहता है. लेकिन फॉर अभी 400 साल पहले तो पता लगा कि सन सेंटर में और हम घूम रहे हैं इस तरह.
अभी of so many years of existence we just realized कि अपने कहाँ घूम रहे हैं, ऐसे घूम रहे हैं या ऐसे घूम रहे हैं. और
वो भी फॉर ऑल 200 साल बाद वो भी चेंज हो जाएगा. नहीं ये भी गलत है. बिकॉज़ तब के लोगों को तो यही सही लग रहा था जैसे हमको अभी यही सही लग रहा है. Also change 200 साल बाद की क्या बकवास कर रहा है. V = IR. हट.
I'm waiting flat earth theory prove हो जाए, सही मजा ही आ जाएगा कि दुनिया बदल जाएगी अचानक से.
Oh man, it's fascinating and we can keep talking about it. And one last thing I wanted to say, because Oppenheimer has been discussed this पूरे साल, और उसका एक again that line which you said related to moon landing, the confidence that we had कि एक बंदा भेजेंगे और मून पे लैंड करके आ भी जाएगा. Similarly in that movie, the one thing that like has stayed with me even now is the fact that when they decide to switch on that thing, that switch, and then there is a non-zero possibility that it can be a change. And I'm getting goosebumps saying this. But
Atmosphere
अगर
will light up. Yeah.
0.00001% भी अगर to
That earth finish हो
imagine that
सकती है.
person who pressed ki bhai there is a chance. There is a chance this will be a chain reaction which can literally destroy the world. तो तुम कैसे करते
Yeah.
हैं लोग यार?
And the fact that the guy who's pressing it, he's just asking it for the first time. Is there कि ये खत्म हो सकता है? Oppenheimer knows it conceptually how this could happen, and he has to be peaceful with it. That for the sake of an experiment to go through, this is the ultimate need of a human psyche. I feel like there's somewhere within that if a thought has to be executed is a very satisfying feeling for us. Like if there's a thought and it can be validated by the form of execution, it's a very satisfying feeling for people in some or the other way. कि मैंने एक कॉन्सेप्ट बना लिया एटम बॉम्ब का, अभी उसके लिए हो सकता है दुनिया खत्म हो जाए, पर ये काम कर रहा है कि नहीं ये जानना जरूरी है. It just supersedes everything else. But it's
Again,
crazy. What a beautiful moment.
And again, like our generation, we grew up knowing that moon landing हो चुका है. It happened before we were born, and we are like, हाँ ठीक है. But every time I take a pause and think, like when I look at the moon in one of those रात में walk कर रहे हैं, moon दिखता है, I'm like, यार एक इंसान यहाँ से वहां चला गया था. And imagine when it first happened, like when you watch it in some TV show. I remember a particular scene from Mad Men where Mad Men के बीच में moon landing होता है और पूरा ऑफिस बैठ के देख रहा होता है. And then you try and transport yourself to that year, like 1969, and you think जब ये हो रहा हो तो दुनिया में कैसा लग रहा होगा यार, कि वो जो है मून जो हम सालों से देख रहे हैं उस पे एक इंसान जाके पैर रखेगा. Oh my God, like you understand the achievement, scientific achievement, then you just
it's like an impossibility. How when people say something like a random musing, क्या इंसान थोड़ी चांद पे जाएगा, like हो सकता है 100 साल पहले it was considered ridiculous. जैसे अभी अपने कभी बताए आज से 15 साल पहले या 10 साल पहले अगर तो कोई एक फ्यूचरिस्टिक या साइटेक मूवी देखता कोई भी साइफाई, उसमें अचानक से दिखाता ना कि ये ऐसा एक वॉइस कमांड दिया और एक स्क्रीन पे होलोग्राफिक इमेज है और वो कंप्यूटर ने अचानक से कुछ कर दिया, समथिंग लाइक जाविस व्हाटएवर, लाइक Jarvis is not too far from an AI being being able to build a Jarvis itself for that matter. Like leave AI Jarvis being an AI, which it is. But like building a Jarvis is also not too far away from now where we are. So it is. But there are times when I feel this whole idea, but the science ने prove किया है कि it's such a limiting thing. It's actually a short-sightedness in a way, rather than how people use it so confidently. अबे यार scientific proof है क्या इसका, बताना. People use it as if like that is the certificate of something being true or not true. But it is objectively very weak a validation of whatever is true or not true. 200 साल बाद कुछ भी 200 साल क्या है 10 साल बाद चेंज हो जाता है कि हाँ क्या चीज कैसे होती है.
Man,
it was nice, man. I like the start to the show.
I was like, we can keep looking out on this, but I would also want you to talk about some other topics. So in middle of all this, you also talked about preparing for IIT, and both you and I did that. And what times like when you were talking about physics, chemistry, maths, and I was like, same. Maths was my favorite. Physics was like, ठीक है, chemistry बिल्कुल नहीं. So all that. But you eventually went to IIT Roorkee, right? And you studied architecture. So you are a studied architect. Does it feel kabhi that people are like, oh, to IIT gaya tha, and then you're like, oh, architecture tha, acha. Does that happen?
Actually, not too much. एक तो IIT का exam same है दोनों का. मतलब so you clear the same exam, so there's not much distinction. But like because degree अलग मिलती है, so there are times when maybe some people have a confusion, but I haven't been approached too much about it.
So tell me about those days, na? Like did your life? I know, like, do you see the world in a different way because you studied architecture? And when I say it in a different way, I don't mean I literally mean like physically when you go to a new city or you walk on a street. Like when I go to a London or a Toronto, I'm like, oh yeah. Everyone gets a vibe of the city from their own lenses, right? कि वो यार ऐसा अच्छा ये Victorian है या ये whatever, ये नॉर्थ अमेरिका में थोड़ा कंक्रीट जंगल है, बट यूरोप में थोड़ा हिस्ट्री है, तो सबका अपना अपना. बट यू फ्रॉम एन आर्किटेक्चर लेंस, डू सी लाइक, ओ अच्छा ये यहाँ का आर्किटेक्चर ऐसा है, यहाँ का आर्किटेक्चर ऐसा है, डज इट डू यू सी इट डिफरेंटली?
I do feel different. Like there are times. So when कभी कोई show होता है मेरा, so I'm going to a hotel. Then hotels are like they're supposed to be designed so that you can तेरे एक दिन का सारा यूज उस एक रूम में कंप्रेस हो रहा है. Like you know, it's a very nice way to design. It's a very fun thing to design a hotel room. कि भाई कितना कंफर्ट आप कैसे छोटी सी जगह में सारा चीज दे सकते हो. ओके, सो थिंग्स लाइक दैट ऑलवेज यूज्ड टू गेज कि क्या. आई डोंट नो if I should mention the name, but there is this chain of very famous hotels in India जो कि मेरे को ऐसा लगता है has been repeatedly telling me कि इनको डिजाइन में ये हंसते हैं गड़बड़ बड़ा बड़ा बीच बीच में. I tell you how though, like there's it's in Hyderabad. कैसे वो होटल का ना, मतलब वो रूम के अंदर ऐसे एक डायगोनल पिलर था. लाइक इट वाज अ डिजाइन स्ट्रक्चर कि पूरे होटल में हर रूम में एक ऐसे डायगोनल कंक्रीट पिलर पूरा ऊपर से नीचे जा रहा है. तो हर रूम में इट कट्स द एंटायर वॉल. द विंडो दैट यू हैव ऑन द साइड ओवरलुकिंग द व्यू, वो पूरा ऐसा कंक्रीट का एक वॉल जाता है. सो लाइक दिस इज सो बैड. लाइक द एंटायर व्यू कुड हैव बीन ब्यूटीफुल. ये बच्चों के लिए फ्रेंडली नहीं है, वो वहां गया कूदा. There's like so many things that I just in general see when I go there. So and they annoy me a little more. I think the difference lies in the fact that when I see that, it annoys me a little more. Yeah, किसने गलती की ऐसा थोड़ा सा. But I get over it. But one of the significant moments I remember is where I felt something that there's a difference in how people see maybe is Edinburgh. I'd gone to see the Fringe Festival, and there were a couple of other comics also there. Like I think Upmanyu and Sumit Anand were there at that point of time, and these guys were like telling how beautiful Edinburgh is and everything. And they were like appreciating the architecture for a second. कि हाँ ये बहुत अच्छा है यहाँ पे ऐसा. I was like, I like it, but it's and I understood where they're coming from. Like it's beautiful objectively, it's beautiful. Subjectively, sorry, it's beautiful, right? Like my personal choice never goes with anything which is there's this concept called ornamentation which I don't like, which means जो चीज जरूरत नहीं है उसको खाली सजाने के लिए बनाया गया है वहां पे. You know how the British pillars ऊपर ऐसा flowers ये वो रहता है पूरा ऐसा बनाया हुआ. It's called the Corinthian order. That's the order of the pillar. It's called Corinthian. And then वो ऐसा जो ornamentation कर देते हैं ना, तब मेरे को अच्छा नहीं लगता है. I like functional architecture more. तो द मोमेंट, और ये जो वो पूरा ब्रिटिश आर्किटेक्चर में हर जगह देख रहा हूँ एक बड़ा सारा पिलर, ऊपर ऐसे फूल निकाले हुए, 3 जगह एक लिलीज, एक जगह एक ऐसे बेबी, कहीं आदमी कहीं औरत, ऐसा लाइक सच अ वेस्ट ऑफ एनर्जी. दिस इज जस्ट टाइम स्पेंट फॉर नो रीजन. I get furious if I find something which is done on a long scale which makes no sense to me. Obviously, objectively, like you know, someone found that this is beautiful and that's what they went with. And there are many things which I don't like in the world, but they exist yet. But yeah, there are times when I do end up watching a space with an architect's eye more often than I actually think that I do.
So does it happen you go to a friend's place and बैक ऑफ द माइंड में थोड़ा थोड़ा नया घर में देख के चलता रहता है कि इधर बाथरूम निकलना चाहिए था या ऐसा?
Oh, 100% dude. एक तो मुंबई, so I'll tell you, Mumbai is like a place जहाँ पे घर कैसे भी बन सकते. For anyone watching, I'm sure they would know the stories of finding a good house in Mumbai at a decent price is a very very tricky thing, right? So when I came to Mumbai and I had to look for apartments, when I'm looking बीच में जो options आते हैं online कभी ऐसे दिखता होगा, Bombay just amazes you कि ये ऐसे कैसे कर देते हैं लोग कि घर में सीलन आ गई है तो वो बाथरूम के टाइल्स घर पे लगा, वो वॉल पे लगा देते हैं. इट कैन बी इन लिविंग रूम में बाथरूम के टाइल्स लगे. इट कैन बी एनीथिंग. अगर तुम मतलब जुगाड़ में बॉम्बे में कुछ भी हो सकता है. तो आई वाज वेरी अमेज्ड. बट बॉम्बे में ये भी है बिकॉज द स्पेस इज लेस, so the way things were designed is just beautiful. So I got into this I don't know, like spiral hole of just looking at places. Even if I did, मैंने घर ले लिया, उसके भी 2 साल तक बाद में घर देखता रहता था. Just how these places have been designed and how functionality is still possible in such crammed up places.
But like I'm taking a cue from your Edinburgh this thing. So you are, as an architect, you believe you are a function over ornamental
Yeah,
type of flower.
yeah.
But like in the sense that if the ornament or whatever is done with the basic function intact, does that bother you? Or like if it is
Uh,
done in place of function, definitely I can imagine. But
hmm,
if you think कि बाकी सब ठीक है, everything is great, but थोड़ा सा ऐसा कर दिया कुछ ऐसा हल्का फुल्का, so
yeah.
aesthetic वगैरह 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 that.
मतलब मैं कपड़े पहन के जा रहा हूँ और मैं घड़ी पहनूं या नहीं पहनूं यहाँ तक मैं देख सकता हूँ, समझ रहे तू? बट मैं अगर मेरे ड्रेस पे अगर यहाँ एक फ्लावर है तो मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगा वो वाली चीज. सो वेयर इट कम्स obviously is there, there's a line. But in general, so I delve very deep into like my style. What I like is more towards US and Netherlands और ये सब का European. मतलब ना plain structures with beautiful design अंदर कैसे किया, the space का design rather than like space conceptualization rather than ये एक यहाँ पे ये element ये अच्छा दे दिया, element ये ऐसा सजा दिया, ऐसे सजा दिया, ये more than that. I used to really like this. So after my college, there was a time where I had decided that I'm going to go study architecture at Auroville. Because Auroville they practice a lot of passive architecture. What passive architecture is, they try and use the elements of nature as much as they can. And by elements, I mean like जैसे मेरा एक senior था, उसने एक घर बनाया apparently. This I've heard, I haven't been there, I haven't confirmed with it. Apparently उसने बैंगलोर के बाहर एक घर बनाया 2.5 storied small house bungalow type का. And after studying architecture 6 months at Orville, where the entire 2.5 stories, like 4 bedrooms, had 0 fans and only 6 LED lights. And the entire house, this is all the electricity it drew. I understand it's Bangalore, so it works better. But in general, this is passive architecture कि wind का जो direction आ रहा है, उसको कैसे use करना है, light की जो direction आती है, उसको waste मत करो. How you can reflect light and use it rather than having harsh light coming inside. So once you use passive features, I think I really like that architecture. So that is, I get very fascinated that way. That's where I really enjoy watching. So उसमें कहीं पे भी ना ornamentation का धीरे धीरे और कम होता रहता है. Ornamentation is always something that you go after it. So if the focus ever lies on ornamentation, then I start disliking it because ऐसा लगता है इसमें ना there's only certain amount of effort you can give both ways. You can't मैं 100% functional और 100% सुंदर भी बना दूं ना, बहुत rare होता है, होता भी होगा. Dude, there are some buildings I would really like ये course के कारण which I came across, I think architecture that मतलब मेरे को ऐसा लगता है ना इंडिया में ऐसे फ्यूचरिस्टिक या थोड़ा सा बहुत डिफरेंट आर्किटेक्चर, इंडिया का आर्किटेक्चर इन जनरल जो मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगा is has been mostly houses, how they make houses, farm houses. कभी ये कोई भी बुक स्टोर में जाओ, टॉप 50 हाउसेस, टॉप 100 हाउसेस ऐसा कोई बुक देखोगे ना, इट्स मोस्टली दोज आर द वेरी ब्यूटीफुली डिजाइन प्लेसेस इन इंडिया. बाहर भी होता है बट इंडिया में भी बहुत अच्छा होता है. बट ना there are some kind of buildings and some things that architects of the Western world or the developed countries, I would say, have done, which is not practiced much in India. So yeah, there's some incredible pieces of architecture in the world which most of us do not get introduced to just because we don't see this. Like India में थोड़ा सा कम है, ऐसा like crazy वालापन, but yeah.
There is a fish building in Hyderabad, which is
it is that's pretty much
that's the
you
limit
see
of
where
art.
you see where we immediately go when we have to say something like this. What strikes out? It's a Lotus Temple, Baha'i Temple, Delhi wala. It's a beautiful piece of architecture and all. Like okay, but just if I have to list down things जो कि लोगों ने बाहर किए, it's just craziness. Okay, to Canada गया था, Royal Ontario, the museum, Franco Gehry. There's an ancient museum of so many years which has to be restored. He was given the idea, you know, like that you have to restore the museum. And what he did, अगर तुम लोग कभी कोई भी like viewers, if you go, it almost is like metal के rocks बना दिया उसने पूरे को. सामने से entrance the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto is just like पूरा एक एंशिएंट स्ट्रक्चर और उसके सामने वाला पार्ट उसने पूरा एक मॉडर्न ग्लास और मेटल का रॉक बना दिया. सो कंट्रास्टिंगली डिफरेंट बट इट इज सो ब्यूटीफुल. यू गो देयर एंड यू फील like you can't be on that entire street के 50 मीटर के दूरी पे and not notice something amazing is there. Like धीरे धीरे आके वो रिवील होता है. It's beautiful to see something that these guys create. It's just yeah,
absolutely. Oof. Okay. I noticed when you were talking about that hotel ka thing, and you said कि वो pillar है and all that, and middle you just said कि बच्चों के लिए भी friendly नहीं है. So I'm taking a cue from there, thinking have some because of some recent life event in your life, have you also started
Yeah,
looking at world differently because now you're a father as well. So I'm going to
yeah.
that chapter now because you became a father recently. Congratulating you in public.
Thank
Uh,
you so much,
I
man.
have. How has that changed your life? Like some, just I want to
Hmm.
know.
I think one of the like most significant ways I can put in words that I think finally I have to grow up wala cheez to hai. Like, if you become a parent, I think it's time you grow up. Like there is, I feel like I feel like I should be more responsible. I am not as responsible, but I feel like I should be more responsible
Hmm.
than I am feeling puri de rahe. So that was there. I think when you say like a lot of times to koi bhi new parents se puchega, people say it's beautiful, it's magical,
Hmm.
and those words are used. And I feel like it's that it is that. But what is beautiful and what is magical? Uh, it's a little difficult to pinpoint. It's like you see someone, how my baby reacts to anything that is around her,
Hmm.
and how I react to anything that is around her, around me. The same object is so different,
Hmm.
and it's magical to see someone relearn everything in life in front of you,
Hmm.
and which makes you reassess everything that you learned, and do I need to unlearn and
Hmm.
like uh,
Hmm.
just like see it differently now again. Have I stopped अपने subconscious में कहीं गलत तो feed नहीं हुआ है? Like how there are times when you just a way of being, and you don't change yourself because you never found the need to, unless someone again titillated that part of you कि हाँ यार जिंदगी में ये वापस देख के कुछ change हो. So it's beautiful to see those things, how
Hmm.
कैसे भी उसको नीचे उतरना है सोफा से, तो वो उसको मैं सिखा रहा हूँ कि घूम के उतर के पाँव पहले डाल
Wow.
के उतारो. लाइक दीज लिटिल थिंग्स आई थिंक इट्स ब्यूटीफुल टू सी. अगेन एक थॉट है कि मैं इसको ऐसे सिखा दूंगा, फिर
Hmm.
अगर वो ऐसे सीख गई तो यू फाइंड अरे वाह वाह, मजा आ गया कि मैंने उसको सिखाया ऐसा.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
these things are really beautiful.
Hmm.
One also part is that it is a little taxing. It is not often said, but it is not easy to have a kid. I think a person should always know that it takes time, energy, money, everything. You have to commit yourself. So yeah, these things kind of make me feel I feel more
Hmm.
responsible as a person now,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the need to grow up is yeah, it's just indispensable now.
But like all my friends who become parents, and I'm just trying to verify what they all say, is that despite all this कि रात में भी उठा दिया रोने लग गया बच्चा गया गई and then घर जाना पड़ रहा है vacations नहीं कर पा रहे there's a lot of this thing but they say that when you come back home and you hold the kid in your hand it's the kind of feeling that they've never felt ऐसा
Oh,
does it happen with you like on an emotion.
100%, 100%. So like the time when I'm like it's not कि मैं थक के आया हूँ या मैं बहुत फ्रस्ट्रेट होके आया हूँ तो मैं बेबी को आके देखूंगा तो खाली यही. बट
Hmm.
इन जनरल एवरी डे मे बी अगर मैं, because being a comedian I'm home most of the time, so I can be with her whenever I want.
Hmm.
So every time that I'm with her ना उस moment पे somehow like everything else just like phases out. You can see that this part is just with her, and in a way it feels like you're living more than just living,
Hmm.
because somehow the other things do not seem as important. तो ऐसा लगता है ना कि हाँ इस वक्त मैं सही तरीके से जिंदगी जी रहा हूँ ज्यादा देर. That
Hmm.
sort of a thing kind of like
Hmm.
seems right to be said here in this moment. It feels like yeah, maybe I'm feeling amazing right now and living the right way than the
Hmm.
other way around when I'm not with her. So yeah, that's there. It's beautiful. Like you just with the baby and you forget everything else.
But among things have you that you might have sacrificed? Have you sacrificed playing chess, Vaibhav? Because that's one thing a lot of people love seeing you do. What's your thing with chess? And I for a fact I know you play basketball. You don't just watch it.
Yeah,
I want to now completely shift from our science and
yeah,
I don't know architecture to the fun things like chess and basketball. What's been your journey with
yeah.
two sports? These two very different,
So,
like physically at least. Yeah.
but yeah, like these two actually consume most of my time, which I spend otherwise. Chess, it's not, it's reduced significantly. Again, part of growing up. कि हाँ ठीक है, थोड़ा सा हॉबी की तरह ट्रीट करो. I'm not gonna become a professional chess player. I have other things. कि मैं दिन में मतलब 10-10 घंटे चेस खेलने लग गया था. So it almost became like, इतना तो मैं आईआईटी की प्रेप के लिए टाइम देता था यार. तो this is silly to do. But ठीक है, पैंडेमिक था तो एक साल चल गया. But उसके बाद now I've again, like, I still play a couple of games, 2-3 games every day minimum. I sleep watching some chess videos. Agadimator करके, shout out, one of the best channels on YouTube to watch chess channels. तो मैं उसके वीडियोस देखता रहता हूँ, and then that's how I sleep. I've become got into the habit कि मैं चेस देखता रहूँगा, 2-3 मैच देखूंगा. By the third, fourth match I feel drowsy, so I put the phone aside and sleep. How it started is like, I wanted to write a sketch about chess, and I told the idea to Biswa. I was working for Biswa then. I had just moved to Mumbai like around 6 years back. I told him I want to write something about chess, and I wrote the first draft and I didn't like it, so I thought that I need to write it again or whatever. And then just around that time, I got dengue, and मेरे को Calcutta जाना पड़ा because like I was not well. I had to be hospitalized and all. तो मैं हॉस्पिटल में पूरा दिन चेस खेला, like non-stop, just to get a feel of what I want to write, क्या लिखूं क्या, because I was falling short of like new ideas about chess in that moment. And I started playing so much like a crazy person कि I got hooked to it. और धीरे धीरे मतलब शादी वादी करके मैं बॉम्बे वापस आया, और मेरे को सौरभ घोष मिल गया जो थोड़ा सा इंक्लाइंड हो गया चेस के लिए. उसको चेस हिस्ट्री पता था, so that fascinated me. वो मेरे को 2-3 चेस प्लेयर्स के बारे में बताया. देन बिस्वा आल्सो गॉट हुक टू इट क्योंकि वो भी साथ में था थोड़ा देर, क्या उसको भी मजा आने लगा था थोड़ा, हम लोग खेलते थे. फिर मेरे को समय मिल गया तो हम लोग बहुत खेलने लगे. लाइक ये सब समय चेस स्ट्रीमिंग शुरू किया उसके तो एक या 2 साल पहले तक, कम से कम 2 साल तक तो हमने ऐसे किया होगा दैट हफ्ते में 3 दिन तो मैं उसके घर रात को 2 बजे 1 बजे 12 बजे हम लोग खेलना शुरू कर रहे, 2-3 बजे तक चेस खेल रहे, लाइक हफ्ते में 3 बार कम से कम. So we played a lot of chess and I really grew onto it. And then pandemic made just like some started streaming, so it became more fun. It was so nice. Like I say, most of the time I spent in school and college was just playing. Like वो 2 साल अगर आईआईटी का प्रेप में मैंने खेला नहीं, बट उसके अलावा ना स्कूल और कॉलेज मतलब मैं सिर्फ खेल ही रहा था और कुछ किया ही नहीं शायद. तो it was really nice that after a while I got to play something as a competition. It's really fun कि मैं compete कर रहा हूँ कोई like it almost felt like जैसे मैं वो था ना इंटर कॉलेज बास्केटबॉल खेलने गया हूँ, तो वो जो एक फीलिंग आता है वैसा टाइप का फीलिंग आता था जब मैं सीओबी और मैं खेलता था. So I really relished those parts of playing chess, and I was glad that I was hooked onto it and I could enjoy it like this. कि मैं it really mattered to me whether I won or lost. So it was damn fun to play chess that way. अभी fortunately थोड़ा कम हो पाया है, but I'm sad about it कि थोड़ा कम हो गया. Like I missed the times when I could properly learn more, invest more time in it. So it's a beautiful game. I feel like it's one of the good things about this game is that जैसे बोलते हैं बास्केटबॉल जो खेलते हैं ना, like it's often said that doctors also advise कि 40 के बाद तुम बास्केटबॉल नहीं खेलना चाहिए. Like it's not safe for your body. There's a lot of possibility to get injured. Because of the way the game requires you to be physically कितना ज़्यादा active होना पड़ेगा उसके लिए. So it's usually said you can. I mean, at 55 also you can see Shaq dunk mark that. Like he still can do it, but like you got playing a proper game, you risk yourself to injury way too much after 40. Chess, I feel like is a game I can play till I'm dying. Like you understand? I've played chess with my grandfather. He enjoys chess so much. Even अभी लगभग साल भर पहले, which I feel like was my peak of what I could play, almost peak of my strength of playing. My dada, he's 76. He beat me 9 games out of 10 and drew 1. He's my dude. वो दादा मतलब इतने साल से उनके, so he and his son for past 35 years in their life have not eaten without playing chess. Like they have this habit कि वो काम से आते दोनों जन, बाप बेटा दोनों जन घर आते, चेस लगा लेते, और फिर अब जो भी होगा चेस खेलते खेलते ही होगा. फिर हम चेस खेलेंगे, थोड़ा देर खाना खाएंगे, थोड़ा देर गप्पे मारेंगे, 2 गेम चेस हो जाएगा, फिर एक इंटरनेशनल खेलेंगे, एक देसी वाला चेस खेलेंगे, बंद कर देंगे, फिर उसके बाद वो मतलब 2-3 गेम तो उनको फिक्स है खेलना है। आई वाज जस्ट थिंकिंग लाइक दिस इज अ गेम यू कैन प्ले ऑल योर लाइफ। इट्स ब्यूटीफुल। मैं अपनी बेटी के साथ खेलूंगा यार जब वो बड़ी हो जाएगी। लाइक इट्स सच इट्स अ स्पोर्ट। मैं उसके साथ क्रिकेट नहीं खेलूंगा शायद, समझ रहे हो? Like, वो फिजिकल बहुत डिफरेंस आ जाता है, बट चेस में इट काइंड ऑफ नैरोज डाउन दैट यू कैन जस्ट
Yeah.
प्ले
Yeah.
एंड इट्स अमेजिंग टू डू दैट।
Mm.
So that's my love for chess, yeah. मतलब I really like it, and it's a big part of me, and I'm glad that it's a part of me, and I wish to keep it as it is.
Wow.
Basketball, on the other hand, I think that was it's my favorite sport for sure. Like basketball, oh, the watching basketball is so killer. I feel like I really enjoy it. I used to play like class 6 में मैंने start किया था खेलना, and I remember I used to play this club बाजू में था घर के, and I used to go play there, learn. तो धीरे धीरे आई गॉट गुड एंड देन मजा आने लगा। फिर स्कूल टीम में खेल रहा था, स्कूल टीम में क्लास 10 तक ऐसा मजा आया, एक साल खेला, 9 तक आके सीखा तो 10 में खेल लिया। फिर उसके बाद 2 साल कोटा में कोचिंग में था, जिंदगी बंद हो गई। तो और कुछ नहीं, खाली पढ़ ही रहे थे उस टाइम पे। बट फिर उसके बाद आई रिमेम्बर क्लास 10 में व्हेन आई वाज कंटेम्पलेटिंग व्हेन आई वांट टू गो टू कोटा और नॉट, my mom showed me a brochure of IIT Bombay, I think, या IIT Delhi, कुछ IIT Bombay का दिखाई थी शायद। एक उस ब्रोशर में था कि कैसे वहां पे 3 बास्केटबॉल कोर्ट है। आई वाज लाइक हाँ यहाँ तो जाना है। ये तो बहुत अच्छा है। एंड इट्स वेरी फनी दैट नाउ दैट आई ट्राई एंड think about it, I don't think I knew that what I want to do when I go to IIT. और वो क्या जाना है क्यों जाना है ना उस एज पे पता ही नहीं होता। उस टाइम पे ये पता होता है कि हाँ ये अच्छा है शायद कर लेते हैं ऐसा टाइप सा। उस टाइम पे नहीं पता होता था लाइक मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम पे कि मेरे को क्यों आईआईटी करना है, क्या कोर्स करना है। जिस दिन आईआईटी मेरा रिजल्ट आया ना कि मेरी रैंक ये है, तब भी मेरे को नहीं पता था मेरे को कौन सा करना है। मैंने सिर्फ ये सुना था कि हायर रैंक वालों को ये मिलता है, उससे जॉब अच्छी मिलती है, ये सब चीजें पता है। तुमको क्या करना है ना इस लाइन पे कोई आइडिया ही नहीं होता था। तो फॉर मी इट वाज लाइक बास्केटबॉल दिख गया एंड इट वाज मोर देन एनफ। लाइक मैं ठीक है बाकी तो वो पता ही नहीं है तो मैटर ही नहीं किया। आई न्यू दैट दीज हैव ब्यूटीफुल कैंपसेस, सो आई रियली वांटेड टू गो। ठीक है आईआईटी मतलब वो पढ़ना पड़ा 2 साल, व्हिच आई रियली एंजॉयड आल्सो इन अ वे। टफ तो सही बट बहुत मजा आया। लॉट ऑफ लर्निंग्स, आई थिंक देयर आर लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स व्हिच फ्रॉम दोस 2 years stay with you all your life, I guess. Like it changes you for in a very strange way. But yeah, it was great. And then उसके बाद में अब मेरे को मजा आता है बास्केटबॉल। Like I couldn't follow early on. College में I played basketball for my college for like 2-3 years, and some of the best friends I made there. So मतलब I just feel like पहले मैं देख ही नहीं पाता था कॉलेज में बास्केटबॉल, बिकॉज वो टीवी पे सुबह 6 बजे आता था यूएस टाइम के हिसाब से। तो बहुत लोग मिस करते थे, मैं भी नहीं देख पाता था। बट अब वो एनबीए ऐप में आ गया था बीच में, दैट यू कैन वॉच एनी टाइम। सो एवर सिंस दैट हैज हैपेंड फॉर द पास्ट 3-4 years again, I've been hooked on to it 2-3 years. I've just been like following and just watching these guys be amazing athletes. Yeah, so it's been fun.
Wow, great that
So
you.
sorry, I have a question for you, Ketan.
Yes, yes,
Like
sir.
I asked this to Anirban also, that somehow like when I like I'm a fan of basketball. I मेरे को फुटबॉल भी मजा आता है, लाइक अदर स्पोर्ट्स आल्सो लाइक, बट वन थिंग आई नेवर अंडरस्टूड अबाउट फुटबॉल इन अ वे इज दैट हाउ द राइवलरी कि हाँ आज मैं लाइक वी आर प्लेइंग तक पहुंचना नहीं खाली, बट द फैक्ट दैट आई एम सो क्लोज टू अ क्लब दैट योर क्लब इज एक्चुअली शिटी जस्ट बिकॉज आई वांट टू लाइक शिट ऑन इट एज अ ट्रैश टॉक कि आई वांट टू शिट ऑन योर क्लब जस्ट बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट माय क्लब फॉर द फैक्ट एंड I somehow like I don't see it as much in basketball, or maybe I haven't noticed it yet, and maybe it's there. But like the idea of कि हाँ कोई लिवरपूल का फैन है, कोई चेल्सी का फैन है, तो चेल्सी क्या है भाई, तुम लोग का तो क्या है, like ये बोलने का मेरा मन ही नहीं करता कि हाँ वॉरियर्स का क्या है, लल्लू है, वो क्या है, वो तो लल्लू है, ऐसे बोलने का मन ही नहीं करता है। हाँ मेरी टीम ये है, वो है, अच्छा है, हाँ हार भी सकती है। मतलब देयर इज अ this fanatic fanboyism of like following of a particular club to the extent. So I asked Anirban, and he mentioned the thing that this goes back to a little bit of stems a little bit from history, because these cities were very close by, so there was rivalry amongst these cities. जैसे दो स्कूल में कभी rivalry हो जाती है जो आजू बाजू होते हैं, वैसे these rivalries kind of like built up over years, and then it became a part of the entire following later on. That to shit on it is also a part of it, although it does not mean that to shit it, but I want to like inside you ki haan, he told me how सपोज दूसरे क्लब के लोग आए हुए हैं खेलने में उसकी सिटी में, तो उनके होटल के बाहर जाके इतना हल्ला आग वाग लगा देंगे कि हाँ वो डिस्टर्ब हो जाए रात को, कि अगले दिन सुबह फ्रेश नहीं उठे, इस लेवल तक. आई डोंट नो, you're also a massive football fan, so
Right.
yeah, exactly. So
Right.
how do you
Yeah,
explain this whole?
I totally understand, first of all, what you're saying and agree. Personally, as a fan, I have never been the trash talk kind of a fan. Personally, only for myself. Like, because some of my closest, two of my best friends are Manchester United fans, and we never do even that friendly band. It doesn't work for me. But I understand how it works for most football fans. And I think what Anirban said is the reason, because historically, right now let's just compare NBA and EPL just for discussion. Okay. So again, the origin and culture of English football and European football all over the world is comes into play here, because all of these, most of the major clubs in the world started during late 19th century. So it's been almost 130 140 years of just legacy and rivalry. Okay, United, Liverpool, all these, like Inter Milan, all of these started like at least 1920 के पहले, most of them. Then again there is the rivalry, the original people who live there, उनकी rivalry is what धीरे 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 has spread all over the world, right? And उनका rivalry is very intense. And like Anirban said, the rivalry between Manchester and Liverpool is not just clubs, it's also the cities. It's very, because again historically Liverpool used to be a port town, so they were one of the most developed town because of sea trade. And then Manchester, post industrial revolution, Manchester had factories, etc. So they became this thing. So there was rivalry at every this thing. Then of course, iska sabse main club, iska main club, same part of it. So वो rivalry, it has happened for years and years and decades. So once you start following these clubs, you become part of those conversations, and especially on social media. So then this thing of देखो कर देंगे वो कर देंगे वो कर देंगे, वो it becomes part of who you are. Even within cities, there some things we don't understand sitting here in India. But बहुत से clubs का ऐसा है, they have a legacy of working class will support this club, the elite will support this club. तो वो obviously एक दूसरे को सैकड़ों मतलब decades से वो कर रहे हैं, right? This कर रहे हैं, like Inter Milan and AC Milan, which are the same city. But they have some, like Barcelona, Real Madrid. They are two biggest clubs in Spain. Their culture is different. One is from Catalonia, one is from Spain, one is Real Madrid. So it supports the royal heritage of Spain, while Catalonia supports कि मेरे को स्पेन में रहना ही नहीं है, मेरे को जाना ही है. So that is not just a football club. Barcelona represents the sectionist or the rivalry against Spain as a country. It's not just football. So for them, it's that very intense कि हमको तो ये देखते ही नहीं रहना है, वो उस लेवल पे खेल रहे हैं. So obviously वो it becomes part of this, which spreads to this thing. NBA is a very franchisee driven sport as such. Most American sports, वहां पे American football में फिर भी थोड़ा बहुत ये कर देंगे, साले पेट्रियट्स तेरी मार देंगे, साले काउबॉयज, साले थोड़ा ज्यादा है compared to बास्केटबॉल में भी, कॉलेज फुटबॉल में है, but it's at very local level, like University of Michigan उसको बोल रहे हैं, इंडियाना उसको बोल रहे हैं. But I think by the time it reaches the NBA level, it becomes a little more professional, and also it's a little more recent comparatively to European football. Kuch decades say, like as we know, 80s like the Jordan phenomenon took NBA to something. So, होता है, and it's very professional कि चलो Pistons and like Warriors and ऐसा वैसा, उतना ज्यादा उनका उसमें थोड़ा बहुत like न्यूयॉर्क के अंदर के दो में थोड़ा
हल्का फुल्का है, but like not as pronounced as in football.
Not like this. Football में तो there are riots, there are like religion angle, like if you're a Tottenham
like पूरा audience एक साथ, पूरी की पूरी stadium एक साथ bounce कर रही है just to create an environment of like sort of like, you know, for our team hooliganism वाला चीज है. It's nice and it's fun, and like the environment is just crazy. I know a lot of times ना football में it's looked down upon कि तू एक player का fan है. I remember Anirban telling me about this concept also कि तू क्लब का फैन बनना. मैं ना क्लब में कोई भी आ जाएगा तो क्लब का फैन कैसे हो सकता है? तो कोई भी खेलेगा इसमें, बस ये क्लब का फैन है. ये क्या लॉजिक है? वो कैसा खेल रहे हैं, कौन खेल रहा है उसमें, मैनेजर क्या कर रहा है, बट तू ये क्लब का ही फैन, वो तेरे को क्या फर्क पड़ता है वो बिल्डिंग किस नाम की है? लाइक हु प्लेज देयर शुड आल्सो मैटर. वो हाँ, लेकिन देयर इज मोर टू इट. So there's such a long debate of how this whole
Yeah.
culture develops. It's
Yeah.
very complex.
Yeah, I think you
But
just commit to a club. That is the thing. कि अब मैं ये commit कर चुका हूँ. There is no going back.
it has
अब
to be
तो
on based on something ना. कमिट क्यों किया? तो लाइक वो क्लब को तेरा जैसे मैं लेब्रॉन जेम्स को पसंद करता हूँ, मैं लेकर हारे जीते मेरे को फर्क पड़ता है क्योंकि लेब्रॉन उसमें खेल रहा है. अगर लेब्रॉन कल को वॉरियर्स खेलने लगे तो मेरे को वॉरियर्स के बारे में जानना है. मतलब देन आई वुड नॉट केयर अबाउट लेकर्स. सो फॉर मी इट्स मोर दैट राइट नाउ. तो ना वो चीज टीम वाली चीज इज अ लिटिल लेस अंडरस्टैंडेबल फॉर मी कि मैं एक टीम को कैसे करूं. बट या आई गेट why it is the other way thoda sa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even for most fans outside the city where these clubs exist, it starts with a player only. For all of us, if you deep dive, for me, Anirban, Rahul, all of us, it starts with a player. Then you commit to the club, and the club has such big legacy, culture, conversation, so many things going that you now enter that, and then it becomes a larger thing. Like वैसा होता है हमारे साथ. Like a lot of people became Barcelona fan because they love Messi, not really Barcelona. In last 10 years or so, or like uh, Ronaldo in our generation led people to Manchester United for a few years. Then it's not जरूरी नहीं है कि आप रोनाल्डो जहां जहां जा रहा है आप सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, but now you are a United fan. Now you are like अब हम इसके fan हैं, and then like and
makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, oh man, okay, I
touched the nerve for Rahul maybe कि मेरे को बहुत कुछ बताना है. How do I say it in
yeah,
this
like
time
it will become something else only. Because again in India, it's very reflective of. It's a great thing to bond, first of all. Like I think Rahul and I, one of the main reasons we became friends was because both of us loved Liverpool. And I think we both love Anirban, amongst many other reasons, is also because he loves Liverpool. So it just by default makes you like other person, because it's suddenly so much to talk about. Suddenly like अच्छा तेरा stand up कैसा था, अच्छा था. Then you know वो ये भी तो Liverpool fan है. So you have like वो हुआ कल का मैच देखा, परसों देखा, ये हुआ. This just. And for
in a way I understand it at times because I feel like India Pakistan में भी एक rivalry है ना. Like ठीक है, I like players in the cricket team, but ना there is somehow like यहाँ तो India के लिए like अपने root करते हैं. It's not just I'm here to watch good cricket, जो better खेलेगी वो जीत जाए ना. That doesn't apply there. There is some socio-political reason gives you a bias towards the team, and then you want to shit on the other team. So I completely understand that part of like living in this country. You understand it because कहीं ना कहीं तो आता ही है.
So just now you imagine somebody in Japan who loves cricket, okay, and then loves cricket, and then loves say Virat or something, and has started supporting India for some reason. So now that Japanese kid is now invested. Now he has to do everything. Now he has to be like Saleh Babar Azam, and he has no stake, although we have a lot of stake. But because of our stake, we are creating conversation online every day about this stake. साले हम पहले आजाद हुए, तू हमारा बाप होता है, 71 भूल गया क्या? We are doing all that. So now that kid is also somehow, he lives in Osaka or something, but he's
but
like,
it's so funny if you and me do it. अगर a kid in Osaka doing it, it's so funny as a concept.
It is. Oh my God, लोग, मैं वसंत कुंज में एक बार पिटने वाला था भाई, कोई यूनाइटेड मैच में जाएंगे, oh you fucking scouser, what the fuck are you doing here? मैंने कहा भाई ये वसंत कुंज है यार, ये क्या?
Dude, you Anirban and Rahul are the kids living in Osaka, loving cricket. It's like you're loving Liverpool, sitting in India. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same.
You see why it's funny, but it's there. It's there.
It is the same. It is the same. It is the same. It's that kid who will come to Wankhede to watch a match with a India jersey and be like, yes, Dil Mange more and all that. So yeah, it is that. But it just makes you happy. It's like I tell you, Vaibhav, when Liverpool wins, that week is the most beautiful. Like their wins and losses define our state of mind. Like I'm feeling happy because they won last night. They were trailing 1-0 and they won 3-1. My whole day is significantly better. So whatever helps, वो वाली बात है.
Yeah. It's beautiful to watch that joy coming out of things here.
Okay, quickly, Vaibhav, you mentioned about lockdown when you were talking about chess, obviously. And I remember lockdown, you, Saurav and Anirban had a show where you spoke about which one of you is the weirdest. and that was one of my favorite shows to watch. And उसमें यार we had to guess like which one of the three is ये किसकी बात हो रही है. And of course it was very difficult to judge because three of you are crazy people. Like you had some facts I remember कि you don't have a fridge or a microwave, something like that. ऐसा.
Yes.
Food choices are always like because you're vegan, not just vegetarian, right?
No, I'm vegetarian, yeah. But like,
Vegetarian.
my wife was vegan for a little bit. We both tried veganism. We keep trying each way, but most of
What
the
is
time we're
your like
vegetarian.
equation with food? Like, do you like are you into like organic and residual free
Yeah,
and farming? Like, क्या चल रहा है उसके बाद?
yeah. So, पहले तो yeah, I mean, I मेरे घर में माइक्रोवेव नहीं था एंड टीवी नहीं था, लाइक जो अभी भी नहीं है, दोनों चीज नहीं
Wow.
है. We try and eat whatever is made fresh. We don't. We try almost never do we eat कि खाना बन गया फ्रिज में रख दिया फिर वापस खा लिया. We try and do that as much as we can. That's most of the times why we don't need a microwave. We had a microwave, we had a TV in the first place that we moved, but we ended up not using it out of these beliefs that we have. The TV na somehow like it just did not fit. Like me and my wife, we both are. When we got married, I remember like I told my wife that they were a struggling comedian who. तो मैं ऐसे बॉम्बे में रहूंगा तो I don't think I can give you the lifestyle that your father gives you and all that. So it's gonna be a little थोड़ा बहुत ऐसे challenging and all. And I remember this is like 2015 or something. तो my wife said मेरे को 4 Mbps इंटरनेट स्पीड कांस्टेंट चाहिए बस हो जाएगी लाइफ अपने दोनों की सॉर्ट. We both are like serial bingers at that point of time. We really enjoyed binging a lot. But somehow when we watched it in a TV together, it wasn't like as fun. मतलब हमेशा देखते हैं तो थोड़ा बहुत चीजें कभी कभी मजा भी आता था. But more of the time ना like what I disliked about it, I can tell you, is that मेरी आदत थी कि लैपटॉप को एकदम यहाँ पे ना ऐसे पास में लेट के पास में यहाँ पे रख लिया या चेस्ट पे रख लिया ऐसा करके. The typical unhygienic, unhealthy thing that we all do. Not unhygienic, just unhealthy. So तो लैपटॉप का स्क्रीन अगर यहाँ पे है ना मेरे, तो मेरी जिंदगी में मेरे को खाली इतना सही नहीं दिख रहा है. लाइक अपार्ट फ्रॉम द स्क्रीन दिस इज ऑल आई सी. लाइक it covers 80% of my vision. But अगर मैं टीवी पे देख रहा हूँ ना, that is like 20% of my vision. So there's so much more. The focus is, I just don't like the seeing so much more than what I want to see. गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स का एपिसोड देख रहा हूँ, यहाँ पे ऐसे ड्रैगन उड़ के आ रहा है और दूसरे ड्रैगन को बाइट कर जा रहा है. वो मोमेंट यार ऐसा क्या. और उस मोमेंट पे मेरे को बाजू में एक बॉटल भी पड़ा हुआ दिख रहा है, 3 पेड़ दिख रहे हैं. तो मेरे को ना ऐसे बैकग्राउंड में खाली दिख रहा है. आई हैव टू ट्यून देम आउट. आई डोंट एंजॉय दैट एज मच. So there are times when me and my wife, we both, and my wife also like similar idea of like why she did not like it. So we both, there are times when we both have sat down and watched the same episode on our laptops together. So yeah, it's TV and microwave nahi tha. There are times when, so I have been for the past 5 years, I think I've been trying consciously to go eat clean, like as much as less chemicals. Somehow like I have whatever like in my head read and understood and talked and whatever about things, how food habits I feel like are one of the biggest reasons for unhealthy living in them. जो भी. So yeah, तो मेरे को ऐसा लगता है मेरे जितना भी मैं मेरे घर पे सब कुछ आता था, आई ट्राइड फॉर 1 year कि 1 साल बाद मेरे को पूरा घर पे सब चीज ऑर्गेनिक ही चाहिए जितना केमिकल फ्री हो सकता है. And it took me a lot of effort, like fruits, grains, everything you can find now, everything very easily, but आज से 6 साल पहले इतना easy नहीं था. So I remember like it took me about year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, I would say. 3 years बाद मेरे घर पे vegetables, fruits, काजू, जीरा, everything was just organic. And then I realized how organic is a hoax. Like, it was wall shattering, very shattering for me. जब मेरे को पता चला, like met a relative who supplies products to Spencers and ये सब, तो वो बोलते हैं कि वो हम chemical free लिखते हैं, हम organic इसलिए नहीं लिखते because organic is how commonly misused in the country. How इंडिया के जो स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं ऑर्गेनिक बोलने के कि ये ऑर्गेनिक कैसे क्वालिफाई होगा टेस्ट करने से, इफ यू जस्ट वॉश योर वेजिटेबल्स विद सोप वाटर, लाइक सॉरी सॉल्टेड वाटर, दैट्स इट. लाइक थोड़ा सॉल्ट लगा के पानी में डाल दो अंदर, उससे अगर वॉश कर दो, most of the produce will just clear the organic certification. So it's so low. Like the standards itself have been lowered to a point where the certificate should not matter too much to people. and it's misused more often. Checks नहीं है, गवर्नमेंट एक बार फार्म को दे देती है, 5 साल बाद भी रिविजिट नहीं करती कि अभी भी ऑर्गेनिक हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है. It's very difficult to do that also. So these made me realize and made me quest for more as to what should be clean eating habits. And I came to the idea of residue-free is another term, where basically the concept is that from the point of the germination of the seed to the point where the fruit or vegetable or anything is brought to you, there was no chemical involved anywhere. And there's no chemical residue in general. So like that is the whole idea of it. And I know a friend of mine back from college. He was in the basketball team in IIT Roorkee. He started a company in Gurgaon. Two of my friends. One, he was working in McKinsey. This other guy, दिन लोग दोनों मिलके job sabbatical लेके 6 महीना. They started his company. There are times मैं गुड़गांव गया और मैं खाली उनकी सब्जियां खरीद के साथ में वापस लाया. मैं शो करने गया, मैं उनकी सब्जियां लेके घर आ गया because I knew I finally found a clean source, a reliable clean source of food, which is rare in all over the world, I would say. But India में तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा problematic है clean find करना. जो claim करते हैं वो भी नहीं है. So I've been on a constant quest to do this, and fortunately I found a few people इतना साल तक try करने के बाद where I order produce from. It's very nice to eat clean. Somehow it makes me feel like at least in my head that is the part I could cleanse of the toxic things that we have. अपना हवा तो ऐसे ही गया हुआ है, पानी भी गया हुआ है, ज्यादा अच्छा है नहीं. खाना में कुछ कुछ कर सकते हैं तो कर लेते हैं. So I've tried really hard to do this. कभी कभी तो मेरे को ऐसा मतलब समझो मेरा eventual plan यही है लाइफ में. मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि अगर मैं if I earn enough money that I've like satisfied my ऐसा मन में रिटायरमेंट टाइप ऐसा थॉट्स आने लगे तो मेरे को सिक्किम में रिटायर होना है. पूरा स्टेट ऑर्गेनिक है क्योंकि वहाँ पे फर्टिलाइजर्स ही बैन कर दिया था गवर्नमेंट ने. ऐसा कुछ किया है लाइक इन सम ऑफ द अदर. तो वहां पे जाके फार्म लेके रहो. बट इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू लिव लाइक इन अ स्मॉल टाउन नाउ. टू मेनी इंटरेस्ट आई हैव इन लाइफ. तो ये है. बट ऐसा लगता है कभी अगर मौका मिला तो आई वांट टू ट्राई डूइंग दैट समडे. फार्मर बनना तो ऐसा लगता है ना, फार्मर बनने का एक अंदर फार्मिंग करने का एक अंदर ऐसा इट्स अ वेरी इट्स वन ऑफ द प्रोफेशंस जहाँ पे ना तुम किसी पे डिपेंडेंट नहीं हुए बिना भी जी सकते हो क्योंकि तुम खाना खुद उगा रहे हो. इवेंचुअली तो द मोस्ट बेसिक नीड क्या, मेरे को खाना कहाँ से मिलेगा ना, पैसे कमाने के लिए खाना कहाँ से मिलेगा. एब्सोल्यूट बेसिक लेवल पे अगर तुम खाना खुद से उगा लोगे तो फिर तो देयर इज नो डिपेंडेंस एट ऑल इन जनरल इन लाइफ. ऑब्वियसली तुम्हें जूते कहाँ से मिलेंगे, कपड़े कहाँ से मिलेंगे, विल बी देयर बट स्टिल
बट एज अ जैसे होता था ना कि मोटी सी किताब है मॉरिसन बॉयड की या एच.सी. वर्मा या फैराडे जो भी, और ऐसा होता था कि इसमें यार 2-3 इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट बता दे, मैं पूरा बुक नहीं पढ़ूंगा. सो इफ एन ऑडियंस हु इज वाचिंग इट इंक्लूडिंग मी फील्स दैट आई वांट टू क्लीन अप माय ईटिंग एट लीस्ट, सो ऐसा 2-3 क्विक टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स इफ यू हैव फॉर अस. ये तो कर लो, ये देखना चाहिए, करना चाहिए अकॉर्डिंग टू यू ऑब्वियसली.
Yeah, I feel one of the absolute basic things of everyone should start doing is eat only what is seasonal. It's only one Google search away. कि अभी seasonal क्या है, because one of the best ways to find clean produce जो season का होता है उसमें उन लोग उतना chemicals नहीं डालते because it grows any which way. The problem is actually pesticides more than rapid growth के hormones डाले हुए उसमें. So the pesticide free होने के लिए you should try and wash everything with salt water if you can. If you really want to try this, it's a pain initially to start with, but once you get into the habit, it's a very nice thing to do. So if you can do that, at least that's the bare minimum a person can do. If you can go a little further, greens, I think it's not too bad to go hydroponic. It still has its downsides because कहीं ना कहीं वो पानी में भी कुछ डाल रहे हैं ना वो न्यूट्रिएंट्स डालने के लिए. बट एटलीस्ट क्या है ना, वो जमीन पे नहीं उगते ना, तो पेस्टिसाइड्स का प्रॉब्लम कम होता है. दैट्स व्हाई दे स्प्रे लेस पेस्टिसाइड ऑन हाइड्रोपोनिक्स. सो उसका भी बहुत कुछ फर्क आने लग जाता है. सो स्विचिंग टू अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ हाइड्रोपोनिक्स विल नॉट गिव यू वाटरमेलन बिकॉज वो उस सिस्टम में उगाना इजी नहीं है. इंडिया में भी तो बहुत जन नहीं कर रहे हैं. बट इफ यू कैन फाइंड companies which are giving you greens, अपने सारे leafy vegetables जो भी है सब hydroponics होना, those are cleaner. I've noticed relatively a better choice. If you can buy something from season, that's absolute best. And I think uske alawa, that's mostly it, I guess. Like if a person can start, this is where you can start uh, doing things for sure. Done.
Okay, on that beautiful organic note and clean eating note, thank you, Vaibhav. Now we'll go to our favorite section, which is rapid fire. Okay, rapid fire is extremely simple. I have just 10 basic questions, Vaibhav. Pehle we'll just collect all your answers and then we'll go back to the answer to see if you feel like adding something to the answers. Okay, only if you feel like. The only rule is you can't think. Okay, whatever comes top of your mind, you have to say. Okay.
That's okay. I'll just keep on saying, huh? क्या बोल रहे
Huh?
हैं सुनाई नहीं दे
No,
रहा, and then I'll
no,
think meanwhile. Yeah. Okay, go on. Yeah.
cool. Are you ready, Vaibhav?
Yeah.
Okay. Your favorite thing about Kolkata?
Puchka. Food.
Your favorite thing about Mumbai?
Oof, opportunities.
Favorite Indian stand-up comedian?
But I've seen rapid fires पिछले episodes में, so I couldn't help but like think this through. It's actually a tie between Biswa and Kanan.
Biswa and Kanan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Indian, right? Like you mentioned Indian or in general? Yeah.
No. Biswa in Indian. Okay. Favorite building with respect to architecture?
So I okay, it's very difficult. Like it is actually that house my senior built जो मैं बोल रहा था. It's called Prakriti. I think Prakriti. It's that house. So something around that line. Yeah.
The Bangalore one with LED and sun.
Yeah, 6 LEDs, no fans.
Okay. Favorite Indian comedies? Sorry, favorite Indian special पूछने के बाद repeat हो जाएगा. Favorite international comedian?
Louis C.K.
Favorite TV show?
God, this is so tough. Okay, if I had to choose something which has stood the test of time for me, is maybe Prison Break.
Oh, nice. Somebody finally said, we'll come back to this. Favorite basketball player of all
LeBron
time?
James. LeBron James.
Favorite film?
Damn, happiness. Pursuit of happiness.
Favorite restaurant?
Right now, it's Yogi Satwa in Bandra.
Favorite book?
I haven't read too many, but while reading, I've really enjoyed this. The autobiography of E is equal to MC square by David Badanos. It's a small book about this whole Oppenheimer wala thing, which I read when I was in class 10, 11.
Okay, we'll just quickly go to the answers. In case you feel like adding something about something, will otherwise it's fine. Favorite thing about Kolkata, you said puchka and food in general.
Yeah.
Any favorite restaurant that you want to just add as a recommendation if somebody is going to Kolkata?
In Calcutta. Okay, so Calcutta, there is this place called Jai Hind Dhaba over there. So dal makhani and with rumali roti is absolutely mind-blowingly good. I think those are my cheat days luxury. Like I don't think ye to aaj khana hai. It's a dhaba sort of a place which is 3-storied. Okay, now because of the good food they make. So yeah, that's one place which I've noticed. Otherwise, in general, just like the street food in Calcutta, I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Puchka is my absolute favorite.
Jain Dhaba where they have that cola something.
No, so but that is Sharma Dhaba near the Gurdwara in Elgin Road. That is also one of the dhabas. But doodh cola, like these things are what make the Calcutta food, the street food, just like what they are. Beautiful.
Favorite thing about Mumbai opportunities? I think we all agree. All of us Mumbai immigrants.
Yeah, one more thing actually I want to add to that. I think what I absolutely love about Mumbai is having an ocean, having a sea or an ocean in the city. It has character. It gives you some things that every now and then when you find yourself standing by the ocean, overlooking the ocean, now there is a moment that you really enjoy. And I wish every city could give that as a part of your life like every person could experience that as a part of your life in the city that you live. If once in a while you get time to sit where the civilization is only in front of you and पीछे city है, आगे सब अंदर है.
Yeah.
ये वाली जो feel है, it's beautiful to have, and especially on the West Coast. I mean, my preference is towards a city having a West Coast rather than an East Coast, because शाम की धूप अंदर आए कोई बात नहीं, सुबह डिस्टर्ब नहीं होना चाहिए. Like this is my
But I know what you mean.
preference.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite Indian stand-up comedian? You said a tie between Biswa and Karan. You want to add one line each for Biswa, Karan, as well?
Yeah. What I really like about Karan is how effortless he is, and how smooth he ends up seeming on stage. His observations, again, like I think are very poignant. Like, you know, ऐसा अभी भी उसके latest special में जो आया कि you love things, and then उसका ऐसा आता है ना कि that you love guitar, take guitar, you play guitar, you love guitar, you play guitar, you hate guitar. खत्म. Like, it's beautiful how he observed that you love things and then you try them out and then somehow you see that you don't love them and all. So the way he's put out these things is beautiful. But I mean, the fact that मेरे Kanan का Keep It Real जो साल के स्पेशल्स थे Amazon पे जो निकले थे, I think that was amongst the absolute that for me was the best special. Like उसके कुछ एक jokes हैं उसमें यार कि only when I had a girlfriend did I realize I have blackheads. Beautiful, man. Like it's just amazing, these observations how he put it out. So it's very nice that he constantly has kept on doing the whole observation thing. It's funny. अभी वो taps के बारे में जो उसका नया, it's very nice, very very nice.
And on the other hand, Biswa?
Oh, Biswa, dude. I think Biswa, like Biswa is a very successful comedian, amongst the most successful in our country right now. And for his scale, at his level, baby, Biswa is, I think, one of the comics, not one, like, he's probably the comic who tries most number of jokes I've seen. I've seen Biswa do different jokes almost every time I see Biswa perform. And so this is a habit that all comics, like, you know, like we inculcate also कि जितना experiment कर सकते हो और नया joke लिखा और नया किया, तब तक वो fear कि नया joke चलेगा नहीं चलेगा, वो to beat it is only to do it too many times. And you all do it, but you often fall into a rut of not doing new things. कि अभी कुछ नया लिखा ही नहीं है, कुछ नया लिखा ही नहीं है, कुछ नया मजा ही नहीं आ रहा. Biswa, almost every time I see him, he's doing a new bit. Which makes me nervous as hell because he's also a fellow comedian. Yaar, मैं क्यों नहीं कर रहा हूँ? But the way I've seen Biswa most of the time also, like वो आज travel करके आया, आज उसके साथ कुछ हुआ तो next 15 मिनट वो उस पे आज पे कर दिया. So and this is not just ballsy, but also Biswa makes it work. A lot of people have done that a few times. Biswa has inculcated this enough to make it a habit that he has no fear of doing it, and because of that no fear of doing it, and he's a funny person, he pulls off those 15 minutes on the first day itself beautifully. So I've seen him do this, which is just beautiful. There are some jokes Biswa just nails. He also has the same observation, beautiful wala cheez. Biswa's rant style is a perfect mix of gussa and you know, joking with it. It's such a nice mix of that flavor. It's beautiful to see. क्या करेगा तू, क्या करेगा, वो ऐसा करता है, ऐसा लगता है गुस्सा हो रहा है कि मजाक कर रहा है. Like, it's so beautiful to see that happen. It's really fun to watch him when he's on stage. Yeah,
not many of our audience will know, but Vaibhav does insane impressions of a lot of people. When you Biswa, it struck me, अरे यार, Vaibhav.
ये Biswa आजकल ऐसे करने लगा है, like थोड़ा सा बाल ऐसे करने लगा है, बात इसमें थोड़ा सा एक स्टैंड लेके ऐसे बात कर, हाँ मैं कर रहा हूँ ना, अभी तो चल रहा है ना, like थोड़ा पर क्या है लाइफ में ना, ऐसा ना थोड़ा सा आपने को नहीं करना है यार. He'll get lost playing with a strand of hair and talk about the obscurities of the world with you at the same time.
Oh man. Okay, favorite building. So I think you spoke in the episode about as well the Bangalore this thing. Favorite international comic. You said Louis C.K. You want to say?
I'm so sorry. Like about the favorite building, I just want to add one more thing over there. Something that my professor in architecture told me, that आर्किटेक्चर में लैब्स नहीं होते ना सब्जेक्ट में. इंडिया में आर्किटेक्चर का लैब इज चंडीगढ़ एक्चुअली. मतलब सिटी प्लानिंग का, अर्बन प्लानिंग के लिए एटलीस्ट. It's beautiful the way the city has been designed. It's जैम नहीं हो रहे. सब चीज डिजाइंड है प्रॉपर्ली ऐसा. It's amazing to see that. Yeah, Chandigarh is very nice to visit.
Yeah. मतलब बचपन से एक ही आर्किटेक्ट का नाम हमको पता था, ली कॉर्बूसियर ही सुन के बड़े हुए हम लोग.
Yeah.
Chandigarh. Okay, favorite international comedian, you said Louis C.K. You wanna say something about
Yeah, I think again with Louis is that लुई पता नहीं यार कोई सब्जेक्ट के बारे में बात करता है ऐसा लगता है सब कुछ ही बोल दिया उसने. लाइक अभी कल मैं बैठा था अनुपम के साथ, थोड़ा सी गप्पे मारा था, एंड वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट हाउ लेजी वी आर एज पीपल इन जनरल, जस्ट cracking jokes on it, like exaggerating on it, थोड़ा सा on our own laziness. And then we both really liked how I shared. Louis का एक joke था कि if I'm told to get up from somewhere, I have to be given all the reasons why. Right? Before getting up, I have to be told all the reasons I need to get. First, I have to contemplate whether it's worth living at all. Is living worth it? Like just the way he covers laziness, the way he covers a topic, how basic and simplistic he makes it sound is beautiful. His joke construction, everything is unparalleled. I feel like compared to other comics, to me.
Favorite TV show? Thank God somebody finally mentioned this show, because people seem to have forgotten this show. This was the OG binge watch, and I will never forget my days of watching Prison Break. Like I've like you could not stop after an episode. Oh my God, क्या याद दिला दिया. This was one of the first download करके binge watch करने वाले shows. But yeah, you speak. Prison Break के बारे में.
For me, what stands about Prison Break, like I've watched reruns of Office maybe like 20 times. I watched the entire season of Office 20 times, season 2.5 Men 20 times. I watched Schitt's Creek a bunch of times. Watched so many times, so many things. Friends, ऐसे खाना खाते तो देख लिया casual watch के लिए. Prison Break, I don't do that. I've maybe watched only twice, maybe. Twice. I don't even know completely twice, but 1.5. So what stands out for me is, I think that is the most, like the cliffhangers in that show. Ab kya hoga is never ending in that show. I have never seen a show again in my life in the past 15 years of binging where something had so many cliffhangers all the time कि मैं next episode पे रोक ही नहीं सकता अपने आप को कि मैं next episode देखना ही पड़ेगा मेरे को. There's so much to happen. The twist, the plot is so thick with the twists and turns. Beautiful, man. Like, so मैं actually में college में पता है अपना सर मुंडवा के college में हुडी पहन के दोनों हाथ अंदर डाल के धीरे बोलने लग गया. Just you know how a character rubs off on you when you watch a series.
Full on. I can totally believe what you're saying. I have not seen a more like binge-worthy show than Prison Break. Like I remember sleepless nights कि भाई मैं नहीं सो सकता, 4 बज गए, कोई बात नहीं, मैं कैसे छोड़ दूं, क्या होगा तो फील का. नहीं, I have to.
One of the most hooking shows ever.
Yeah. Okay, favorite basketball player, LeBron James. But like quickly, for a non-basketball person, what makes LeBron different from, say, Kobe Bryant or Steph Curry? Or anybody?
So I think like we all know the greats में ऐसे Kobe या Michael Jordan का ही नाम आता है ज़्यादा. So when we talk in comparison that what extra has he done? Like we all know. माइकल जॉर्डन जैसे 6 बार फाइनल्स तक पहुंचा, जीता, बीच में एक बार छोड़ दिया बास्केटबॉल खेलना, बेसबॉल खेलने चला गया 2 साल, वापस आया, फिर जीत गया. लास्ट चांस, अगर किसी ने नहीं देखा तो डॉक्यूमेंट्री देख लो, बहुत मस्त है नेटफ्लिक्स पे. What stands LeBron apart is that LeBron was this big when he was about to come to NBA. Like he had not even entered. He had the hype with him that this is a phenomena of the world of basketball already. So that's a lot of pressure that has in the future also been laid upon a few times, like that he's a generational talent. कि next 20 साल इस इंसान के नाम पे बास्केटबॉल बनेगा, वैसा टाइप का pressure has been put on at least 3 or 4 players after him also who have not been able to live up to it. And before him also, Jordan never had the expectations that he's going to change the world of basketball when he joined basketball. So LeBron from 2 years before joining NBA had the pressure of being the best player in the NBA itself. Like there were NBA players talking about LeBron not being a big deal before he was coming into the NBA. कि नहीं यार इतना भी कोई बड़ा नहीं है. जो लोग people who were like आने दे तब समझ में आएगा. NBA अलग होता है, college basketball अलग होता है. Or what when LeBron day one 25 points best player of the team from day one, वो वहां से आज तक, आज उसको 19 साल हो गए NBA at the highest level खेलते हुए. Last season at 39, 38 years old, this guy is playing 45 minutes, 48 minutes का match होता. 45 से 46 minutes I think he played in the last match that he played for Lakers. 48 minutes उसके पूरे टीम पे जो youngest player थे, जो second best player है जिस पे ज्यादा डिपेंड करना है, वो भी नहीं खेला. At this age, the energy that this guy, he's obviously one of the best athletes in the world. Like matlab there are times US में matlab it's a very common thing that people athletics wale are very happy that these basketball players are playing basketball because these guys have the height and reach and jump and leap to probably go transition to athletics in Olympics and probably win something also. So these guys are really happy that these athletes are actually happy playing basketball. So I mean, as much of an athletic specimen, he might be first NBA player जो अपने बेटे के साथ खेलेगा. His son is supposed to be drafted next year, and that's his dream that he's going to play with him. And what I really like about him is 20 years he's held on to that expectation, been an exceptional player. He's not just the highest scorer, he's amongst the top 10. वो दुनिया का top 10 कोई भी stat बना लो उसमें LeBron James है. Michael Jordan is not the best assist सबसे ज्यादा, मतलब जो passes कि तूने pass किया किसी ने score कर दिया, you given an assist. He's not in the top assist wala thing. He's the fifth highest scorer, Michael Jordan. Wow. LeBron is the highest scorer, one of the best passers, one of the best teammates. सब कुछ जिताया भी है, सब कुछ किया है बंदे ने. No controversies as such major, like कि हाँ ये इंसान पागल है, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं. Just inspirational person to care about his body, to care about his work. Comes from absolutely nothing, no privilege. What a story! What a icon for a like ambassador for the sport. Ideally, though.
But you know what my favorite part about LeBron is, Vaibhav?
Yeah.
Is the football team he supports. He's a huge fan. He's a huge Liverpool fan, and he also apparently owns a stake in Liverpool, like around 1% type. And वो लिवरपूल का वो सब पहनता है और like jersey वर्सी पहनता है, मैच वैच देखता है.
I didn't know that.
But if you ever start supporting a football club, you know which club to support. So,
yeah, of course.
You, me, Anirban, Rahul will all support you. Okay. Favorite film, Pursuit of Happiness? You want to say 1 minute on Pursuit of Happiness?
Yeah. Actually, India के बाहर को Pursuit of Happiness. India in my memory again Pushpak, like silent movie थी Kamal Hassan की. It's one of my favorite makes. I was very happy recently. I learned it's going to come out in cinemas again. I'm going to go watch it. So Pursuit of Happiness I really like. Just beautiful acting, the emotional touch, so smooth. Like it's so simple. A slice of life thing is just said. It's beautifully executed. It's very difficult to do. As much as we think in our mind, something so simple. There are times when you feel like there's not enough in it. Also, when you think कि मैं बस इतना simple सा लिख दूँ, पर नहीं वही simple को enough नहीं है कि हाँ इसमें enough चीज है कि दुनिया में लोग देखना चाहते हैं उस चीज को. Although it's so simple, to create it on screen, beautiful. You need not just one of the best actors, directors, and a team, but just so much hard work must have gone. So much more than hard work, also just like good vision, like the right kind of people with the right mindset and right intellect would have come together to make such a beautiful masterpiece. I really appreciate that.
And one scene where he gets the job, remember where he comes with that painted
and the guy asks him,
God, and the way his expression changes in the.
Do you remember the dialogue? Do you remember the dialogue?
No, I don't remember the dialogue.
So the thing is, he has paint on himself, and he's come and he has this interview for the job which he's been like longing to get for so long, right? So he comes and sits there, and the three guys in suits just look at him, and with a sort of a dead face, kind of like tell him, what would you say if this job is given to someone who's wearing pants like that? And he says, like उसकी फट रही है, रोना आ रहा है उसको मन में, but he still says Will Smith की Must have some really damn good pants. And that's it. This moment maybe he like the way he pulled it off कि वो एक joke बोला है but क्योंकि उसके पास और कुछ नहीं है कि
Correct,
these
correct.
pants must be so beautiful कि तुम उसको this was amazing कि तुम उसको job दे दो. Just उस moment पे just दिल ले गया यार वो goosebumps आ गए थे actually.
Yeah. And Pushpak?
Pushpak is just because outright just genius in the entire movie. वो जो उसमें वो आइस का सिकल बना आइस का नाइफ बना के मारने वाला is just so funny. Like dark humor में it's one of the best things I've watched. कैसे उसको kidnap करके कर रहे हैं ना. Like you guys have to watch that movie. शुरू का 10 मिनट is just extremely bad. Okay, I just rewatched it थोड़ा टाइम पहले and I just like शुरू का 10 मिनट में बहुत मजा नहीं. उसके बाद पूरी मूवी बहुत अच्छी.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, quickly, last two, your favorite restaurant, you said Yogi Satwa in
Yeah,
Bandra.
Yogi Satwa in Bandra. It's one of the most extensive vegan menus I've found abhi tak, and especially someone who makes it very tasty. A lot of times when I try to go vegan, I found myself craving for tastier food. It's not easy to find very tasty all the time. Things hit and miss. कभी बहुत अच्छा लगता है, कभी नहीं लगता. But this place, I feel like everything. वो दाल मखनी बना देते हैं यार, vegan, बिना घी के, बिना बटर के. वो cashew butter और use करते हैं.
Literally called
They
dal makhani. Like उसमें भी like
exactly.
Okay, wow.
So these guys, they make मतलब मक्खन मतलब फिर cashew butter बनाते हैं. But like these guys, 12 pages, 15 pages of extensive menu. One of the best things is the wrap battle. It's the avocado wrap. जैसे वो बेसन चिल्ला and all that people eat, उसके अंदर guacamole डाल के and then some other things. It's just the avocado wrap over there. It's just insane. If you're in Mumbai, please do go there and try that out.
Done. I shall try. And last thing, you talked about one book, again something to do with what we discussed in the episode earlier, which is Autobiography of E equal to MC square. Is that?
Yeah, it's one of the most. It left one of the best memories that I've had. I really liked Shantaram later on also. Like, अच्छा लगा मेरे को, sorry. But this particular book stood out for me because in that moment I was really enjoying academic studies. This ये वो ऐसा वैसा, and then this book had a beautiful moment where it said कि ऐसा suppose तुम spacecraft में हो, to explain what E is equal to MC square is, autobiography is equal to explain कि वो equation क्या है ऐसा physically दिखाने के लिए. It's a very beautiful moment. David Bodanis, the writer, says that तुम एक spaceship में बैठे हो, spaceship आगे जा रही है, speed बढ़ रहा है, तुम speed और बढ़ा रहे हो, बढ़ के तुम speed of light तक पहुंच गए. ठीक है ना. इस मोमेंट पे तुमने और एक्सेलरेटर दबा दिया. Now, the spaceship technically, theoretically, can't go beyond speed of light. In that moment, what would happen? Because you burned some fuel by pressing the accelerator, so energy has been created. So this energy has to convert into, like, manifest into something. So ये अगर और आगे और तेज push नहीं हो रहा है spacecraft, तो कहाँ जा रही है? This is where that energy converts into mass. कि और speed नहीं बढ़ेगी, तुम और भारी हो जाओगे ताकि तुम speed of light पे ही maintain रह सको. This is where E is equal to MC square. The energy is actually converted into mass happens. So it was very beautiful for me the way they explained how E is equal to MC square works. And the book talked about how Einstein, like felt sad when he realized that this could lead to making of atomic bombs. The theory why he wrote to Roosevelt, I think, whoever the president was in US at that point in time, and the whole idea of the problems that Oppenheimer simultaneously had created something which was going to be created, even though Einstein wanted to put a stop to everything that he had created. He said, "Ye na bane." He was sad about it. But whatever, like these things, kind of like it was a very interesting thing. Basically, Oppenheimer जो movie है थोड़ा बहुत उसके around काफी कुछ था. So it was very interesting to read that.
Yeah. Oh man, on that note, thank you, Vaibhav. As expected, it was beautiful talking to you from being a father to playing basketball to clean eating to your interest in science, where we geeked out like two nerds, self-proclaimed, and architecture, and, everything. Thank you so much, Vaibhav. I hope you also had fun being on Random Musing. Thank you so much for giving time.
It was absolute delight, man. Absolute delight.
Thank you. And people who are watching, you can please like, share, subscribe, and all that, and also listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and please rate us there. Apparently, that helps with whatever algorithms they follow. But thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
So how to use the pot exactly? Let me tell you.
Good cut point.